Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Nucleus Show. I'm Scott Carson. First off, thanks for listening in. When you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, any of our online platforms. And once again, if you're joining us here on Facebook Live this morning, thank you for watching on a regular basis. Today's episode is a little bit different. I always get excited this time of year because of football season. Literally, college football is kicking off this weekend. The NFL's in the preseason right now. High school football's rocking and rolling along. Getting ready to start here as well. And so I'm a big football fan. I played in high school. I played 2 seasons in college. I really, really enjoyed football. It really helped shape my life in a variety of ways. But more importantly, the coaches that I've had while playing really helped mold me, I think, more so than anything else. Football, you have ups and downs just like anything else. And we had some ups and downs growing up. I'll give you an example. My parents were pretty dead set against me playing football in high school, especially my dad. My dad was always afraid to get injured and hurt. And I went through a bit of a big growth spurt between 7th and 8th grade. And the first coach that really has helped shape a lot was my junior high coach and also high school coach, Wayne Stevens. He just recently retired, I think, from Ingleside School District, Ingleside High School. Coach Stevens was one of the guys that just was on my dad quite a bit. He'd come in the hardware store and, hey, when are you going to let your son play? When are you going to let your son play? And a bit of a character, big guy. He actually pitched in college for TCU. As a pitcher for him, but really shaped me really early on and doing the right things and being a leader from the get-go. And that evolved as I went into high school, and I had to give, Coach Stevens did a great job as well as tight ends coach in high school and some other things. And then Coach John Robledo, my linebacker coach, Coach James Heath, their defensive coordinator, Coach Larry Peel, the head coach, and then also Coach Aubie Glover, who was a position coach as well. These 5 guys, I've always learned a lot from these men early on. It really helped me shape me through my high school career and helped me get onto the college level as well. And also taking what I learned from them and put it into business. Because we weren't very good early on in my high school career, which is kind of funny. I know it's over 20 plus years ago. But the lessons you learn from going through a rough time can really sit with you as you grow, as you go through life. I think my sophomore year when I was on the varsity, we were 1-9. We weren't very good. We were young, new coach. I have to give a big shout out to Coach Ken Shaver, who was our previous head coach, who I'd known growing up as well, who also helped me get my college scholarship as well. But we were 1-9, not very good. I mean, we got bullied around pretty good because we were young. But we grew into that. We were 1-9, and then 5-5, and then we were 7-3 my senior year. Missed the playoffs, but we're in the running up to the very last game. And then obviously was able to get a college scholarship out of it. But you learn a lot going from 1-9. I remember literally sitting in the gym between my junior and senior years and wondering, especially my sophomore and junior year, I think it'd be said. I was like, we were 1-9 last year. I mean, I started as fullback. I also played defensive end some. And then I went to linebacker my junior senior. But I remember going from 1-9 is not a fun time. You're like, man, I do not want to go through that again this year. I literally, is this going to be worth it? And I have to say it was worth it. You learn a lot. You go through a lot of things going through that. And then, of course, things happen along. I got injured. I did get injured my junior year pretty bad versus our rival. I tore my ACL. Running down the side, running back, running down the sidelines. I ran down the sidelines. We hit, boom, like that. Fell back on my leg, heard my knee pop, and my season was over. And I was the captain of my junior and senior year. And I remember working my ass off for 9 months. 9 months of rehab, 9 months of going to physical therapy, 9 months to build up my muscle to come back my senior year. Because as the captain at that point, I wanted to come back and let my guys down. And I always took things very seriously with it, like I do now with what comes with things. Game day was always very quiet and solemn. But I would be kind of a loud, fun guy, very serious during the games. But just I tried to lead by not just vocally, but lead by doing, lead by taking action, lead by overcoming obstacles. We had some games that we were behind. We came back crazy on. We had some games that we just dominated. And I have to give a big shout out to those coaches that helped mold that early on. They built that, the ability for me not to overcome obstacles. A big part of obviously goes my mom and dad for the work ethic and things that they built into me early on, growing up in a hardware store and things like that. But this time of year, I always think about the coaches. I always think about the coaches that help mold me where they're at today and what they're doing. And so, like our head coach, Coach Peels, is retired, living in New Braunfels. Coach Mark Hort, my baseball coach growing up, also was a football coach there, just doing great things. I think he just won the state championship in TAPS in private school baseball. Congratulations to you, Coach. But I look at some of the guys that went to high school with, some of the guys I went to college with, and some are doing amazing things. And I also worry about some of the guys that aren't doing some amazing things. And I always wonder what's the difference between those that are finding success in their life and those that aren't finding success. I think it comes down to, being coachable early on. And I think the same thing comes to when you struggle in business, you struggle in life. It's all about being coachable. You have to look at what you're doing and really come to areas. And I've had some really great coaches over the last 20 years after high school and football. I'm not trying to be like Al Bundy, score 4 touchdowns at Polk High School and worry about that for 20 years. Because when I stopped playing football, there was a hole left in me a little bit. I think when you're so used to doing something, I think a lot of athletes struggle with this. When they leave doing something that they love, they're passionate about, and they move on to something else, there's a hole. They look for that team spirit. They look for that camaraderie. They look for that to build that environment of people that they could, going to the trenches with, or cutting up with, or travel, going to battle with. And I think whenever you can find that, it's such a great thing. And if you don't haven't played sports, it's a different atmosphere. Yes, you can be competitive in other things. I get that. Like, I got some great friends, amazing friends. They're just awesome. They're great at band, and they're some of the best. My buddy Oscar Diaz is one of the best trombone players in America, and he's a music instructor at A&M Kingsville, just doing amazing things. And I've got other friends that are just awesome at things out there because they've had good coaches and good instructors along the way. And as we get into football season kicking off, or especially college football, I can remember sitting there one night in college, realizing that I didn't want to play anymore. It wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't enjoyable. And talking with my coach, Coach John Ross, who played in the NFL for the Atlanta Falcons, and was my linebacker coach, and talking with him, and him just talking with me about it, and making sure I was making the right decision to hang up my cleats and move on. And I'll never forget that. He goes, "I'm just going to be as proud of you as the day that you walk across that stage getting your degree as if you were a football player or not, because you've got a good head on your shoulders," he said. And, we've all made mistakes along the way. Heck, I make mistakes every day still. But it's how you react to those mistakes. How do you overcome? Do you face it straight on, or do you pass the buck? And the real good players are those that take accountability for themselves. They take accountability for where they're at. And, that's one thing that I think I've always learned. Is like, when you goof up, just fix it. Don't let a mistake turn into another mistake, I can hear Coach Robledo in there. Don't have a bad play after another bad play after bad play. Because you got 3 bad plays in a row, you're coming out of the game. you can't afford to have more than one bad play in a row. Sugar it off, move on to the next thing. And I think a lot of real estate investors struggle with that. It's the inability to shrug off things. I see that with a lot of people too. It's just not real estate investors, I guess. It's when something bad happens, the inability to just let it roll off your back and move on. And Steph likes to joke here with me that nothing gets me upset. On my gravestone, it'll be engraved in there. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. And it will be fine. Things, it can be difficult sometimes as a real estate entrepreneur, or as an entrepreneur, to go out and do things, to start a new business, to buck the system, to go against the grain, to leave your job, to do something new. And, in your head, you've got to be mentally strong. You've got to have faith in yourself, unlike anybody else with. And I think that's the biggest thing coaches have instilled over the years is the ability to, hey, you have the ability to do this. And I always laugh at people, especially this past weekend, the Quest Expo, the Mastermind, people that aren't in my Mastermind group coming up. Oh, hey, Scott, great to meet you. Hey, great meeting everybody. It's not my Mastermind. It's also great hanging out with people in my Mastermind, but they make jokes. Scott's yelling at you. I'm like, I'm not yelling at people. It's literally, and maybe I do a little bit, I guess, but I get fired up on things, and I want people to find the success, and I believe everybody is capable of achieving the success that they want. And success is completely defined by each and every one of us differently. Totally different. Success for one person could be getting a note closed. For others, getting 100 deals done, or being able to retire their parents, or whatever, or retire themselves, or to quit their job. It's totally independently upon you. Okay? It's totally independently upon you. And one of the big things I think that is so important is an early lesson that Coach Larry Peel taught us about writing down our goals as young kids. I can remember doing this my junior and senior year of sitting down and going through and writing out the goals that we want to accomplish for the season, individual goals that we want to accomplish for the season. And then sitting down with them and discussing them and seeing how we were going to get there. And same thing, Coach Leto did that with basketball because he had a basketball coach. You have to understand where your goals are going to take you. And some of us are where we're at here, and we have lofty goals. Well, you've got to mentally prepare yourself to get to those goals. You have to grow into the man or the woman that's going to be there, all right, for these goals to take place. If you're not here mentally, it's going to be very difficult for you. Now, a lot of people can be here mentally first, and their goals become easy to go through. Matthew Hell, I didn't stop for cookies this morning. That was a massive success. So there you go. Little victories at a time. And I love humor. Humor is a great thing to have. You have to be. I can remember Coach Beal had some really great, had to have humor when you're on a 1-9 ball club. I can remember just like sometimes it's like, okay, we're not even going to watch that film. We're just going to move on and go from there. And guys, it's good to see you. Israel, it was great to see you at the Quest Expo as well. Good morning, Christina Fuller. Great seeing you last night at the Austin Quest grand opening. Just great people around. And I see one of the great things that I love about people and being a coach to people, because that's the thing. Coaches, I think they take that kind of as a football coach atmosphere. I know what people can achieve if they will just do it. It's like doing the extra reps. It's like doing the extra sprint. It's like playing your position, okay? Playing your position. And I saw somebody today on Facebook when I was getting ready this morning as I was reading stuff. That people just, if you have a thin skin, this is not the game for you. You got to have a thick skin. You got to be able to deal with borrowers. You got to be able to deal with investors. You got to deal with marketing. And some guy out there this morning was just, oh, I have no business and I hate marketing. I'm like, that's never going to get you anywhere. Nobody wants to help a Debbie Downer. If you're going to come bitch and moan, then literally go do something else. Go get a job. I may not spring out of bed every morning because I can get pretty tired sometimes, but I will tell you this. I enjoy coming to the office. I enjoy jumping on here. I enjoy helping you guys do something. Steph makes the joke that if I wasn't doing real estate, I'd be a football coach. I don't think I could do that. I've got some buddies that do that, and I don't think I could do that. I think I would probably go a little crazy and blow a vein doing some things, because especially in today's, especially in today's environment where it's harder to coach people to get them to do things. I'm not saying you go out and smack them in the head or, I think corporal punishment is a good thing. I think spanking's a good thing with young kids sometimes, and with all these helicopter parents out there, these parents that are living vicariously through their kids versus letting their kids live and supporting their kids' dreams. They're living vicariously through them. I would go apeshit. I would probably end up getting in trouble. But the thing I look at is, and what I loved about college football was that if you're a college athlete, you really don't have that much free time. You've got a schedule that you're keeping from the morning you wake up when you're in the gym or watching film to the end of the day when you're finished with practice, you're eating and you're in study hall. You've got a pretty regimented schedule. And I think a lot of success can come from that as you're an entrepreneur. If you have a regimented schedule that you do every day, things that you focus on, you'll get a lot of stuff done. And that just comes from the coaches. That's just from being coachable. People ask me all the time how we get stuff done. Man, you're all over the place. You're killing it. You know what? The thing is, we just keep going forward. We just keep doing things. We just keep trolling along, doing what we do, staying in our lanes, doing the things that we need to do on a daily basis, and rock and roll. And good morning to Steph as well. Good morning to other people out there chiming in. And we have been literally, I've looked back since the end of July when we had our virtual workshop, then we had a noteboard room, then we were in Philadelphia for podcast movement, then we had a fast act training, then we were in Ohio, then we were in in Dallas, and then in San Antonio, and then the mastermind, and then the expo. We have just been running and gunning the last month and a half. Yeah. And Gail says, just keep swimming. Just be that shark. Just keep swimming. Just keep moving forward. Keep failing forward. Look, you're going to fail every day. There's little things, but you are going to learn more from your failures than you will from your successes. And eventually, success will just become the normality and failures will be the minority. Okay? You know, your successes will come from you driving and going and overcoming obstacles. And I get it. Like, I totally get it, guys and gals. It's tough sometimes being positive. It's tough going against your friends and the current of negativity that's out there. I have been going through, and if people are posting stuff that's negative on Facebook, unsubscribe or unfollow or unfriend. It's allowing me to naturally filter out my 5,000 friends where I can get rid of people that are just negative. And you have to focus on keeping people positive. You got to surround yourself with just a positive influence. And I think that sometimes as a team, that's what I love about the mastermind, is you're able to surround yourself with like-minded people and positivity. And Bill Griesmer, if Bill's watching this thing, Bill did a great job with his recap video yesterday evening about the Note Mastermind and the Quest Expo and his thoughts. And he said he's around 4 days of positivity. And I will tell you this, yes, 4 days of positivity is great. The idea is that you try to carry that home, try to stay positive even after you get home, okay? And the thing you have to keep in mind, too, more than anything else, is sometimes you just got to remove obstacles. You got to remove that negativity, whether it's stopping watching TV or the news or just removing yourself from relationships for a period of time, okay? Coaches, you know, sometimes you've got to be coached up. Sometimes you've got to have somebody just tell it to you straight. And I think that's the biggest thing I heard this weekend. People love the fact that we just kind of deliver it straight. No bullshit, no smoke up your ass, no smoke up your skirts. Just felt like it is. It's the good, the bad, the ugly. Hey, just be honest about it. That's the best thing that you could possibly do to help yourself out, is just face things and be realistic about things. Be truthful. Be coachable. If there's something going on, get somebody to help you. If you need some help with something, reach out to somebody. Don't go this alone. You're not in this world alone. There are plenty of people out here, especially in the note space. It's funny. I had a pretty in-depth conversation with a gentleman on Saturday at the expo talking about the old guard versus the new guard and how the old guard in the note industry is very kind of secluded. They like to hide everything. They like peek out. Oh, no, I can't share anything. But I got to keep it myself. And the new guard, which is kind of what we represent, the new guard is totally different. The new guard is very co-opetition mindset, very much doing things together, sharing resources, sharing vendors, sharing stories, working together, joint venturing on projects. Okay? It's all about the team. Yes, Eric Hyde, it's all about being a team. All right? And there is no me in team. Wait, there's no I in team, but there's a me. I'm just joking. The team atmosphere. Yes, you can be doing your own thing, but you've got a tremendous amount of resources of people that you can reach out to on a regular basis. And with the use of social media, it's so much easier to get things rocking and rolling. Hey, Israel, glad to hear that I need this talk. Awesome. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. But what I'm trying to get at more so than anything else that I can tell you guys is if you're going to be coachable, you have to first go out and find some good coaches. Okay. Todd LaPierre, together everybody achieves more. Team. That's a great, great thing to say, Todd. Todd LaPierre, I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at the Orlando Note Closers Group. I'm excited to be speaking there. A big shout out to the guys over at paperstack.com for being the event hosts or being the event sponsors, and Todd running a great Orlando Note Closers Group. So I'm excited to be speaking Tuesday night at the Paperstack offices. Steph's got a book written here. Life is like science. Look at, she wrote the book. I'm sharing it to the screen right now, and it takes up the whole screen. Life is like science. Half of the new information we discover or learn or begin to apply to a new course of action going forward is due to an error or a miscalculation or mistake. These are otherwise known as failures in our society today, and it's tiring. Innovation doesn't come about via perfect execution every single time, or we wouldn't hail our innovators so much. Creation is the direct pivot of failure, I think. Creating and masterminding, stretching the brain, and one's experience to wider things is what makes that magic happen. I would agree to that, Steph. Okay? I would agree to that. And that's one of the big things about coaches is coaches are there to help coach you up. When you fail or you're not doing something right, they're there to help you, to coach you into doing the right thing, the right angles in football, or the right stance, or the right cadence, or the right play to call. Because let's face it, in sports, in business, you're going to run different plays all the time. You're going to run some different plays. You're going to have your bread and butter plays. Like for the Green Bay Packers, it was a toss sweep for years. Toss sweep. That's the thing you keep in mind with the Cowboys. The last couple of years has been to get the ball to Dak, getting it to Elliott, getting it to Dez in the past. Or getting it to Jason Witten. You just have to realize a couple of things, guys. Is not every play is going to be a home run. Not every note you buy is going to be a touchdown or a home run or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be something that comes. It's not going to be something that happens every single time. You're not going to find success every day. You're going to struggle some days. But the thing is, the struggle is what leads to making the victory so sweet. As I say, the juice would just not be as sweet without the squeeze. Okay. Todd LaPierre just said, just got back from meeting with Brett. It's going to be great. Yep. Looks like it's going to be a great, great event there. Steph adds another chapter to her book. She says, it's not a book. Sorry. I just get frustrated when people expect they should never be failing. And that has become such a negative, fearsome word, but it's how we learn and improve. Amen to that. Okay. Exactly. And that's the thing. I always crack up that when I see people out there that they're bashing the people who have had failures along the way. I'm like, listen, failures happen, and you're not always going to have success. At some point, failure is going to introduce itself to each and every one of us. It totally is, and you have to be prepared for that. Unfortunately, a lot of people that are working in jobs aren't prepared. Okay. They're not prepared for when they get laid off. They're not prepared for when they get downsized. They're not prepared when they're replaced with somebody younger and cheaper. Okay? And they often struggle with that. And I know we met somebody last night at the Quest IRA Austin Grand Open last night. A young guy out of here in the area reached out to me, was looking at buying a house. And I asked him some questions. Like, well, is it going to foreclosure? Oh, yeah, it's going to foreclosure in a week. I'm like, well, there's not really much you can do. There's very little. I said, have you talked to the homeowners? No. Okay. I'm like, do you know what the homeowners are? I'm like, no. Oh, it'd be a great deal. It needs a lot of work, but it can be great money. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I love that you're hungry, but you got to find a way. And then I saw a post this morning. A guy's looking for just some work, looking for anything right now to put food on his table and stuff like that. And so, like I told him last night, I was like, listen, man, do some things, get yourself educated. That's what you need. He's like, I was going to try to wholesale. The guy's just he's floundering because he's not got somebody sit there to kind of coach him, to walk him through some things. So we gave him some guidance last night and yesterday after, because he reached out to me, and last night he showed up at the event, which is great. He's coachable. So we gave him some advice, and hopefully he's off running and roaring. He'll work his way through things. Just going through a bit of a tough time, and we all go through that. Todd says, love it. Failure is proof you are trying. That's correct. But the thing is, too, keep in mind, too, Todd, just doesn't you get better at it the more you do. Some people fail from trying, but they never try again. They stop after that first bit of failure. Keep failing forward. Warren, hey buddy, North Carolina boy. As a designer, we say fail fast and fail often. This accelerates us towards innovation and great solutions. I would totally agree that. Fail fast and fail often. That is good stuff. Laura says, trying to do something often gives you tunnel vision. Reaching out helps gives you a wider vision. You don't concentrate on your failure so hard, you can actually see how far you've come. Yes, agree to that. A lot of people, we focus on our failures. Okay? We focus so much on our failures that we often forget that everybody has been there. There's people that ahead of you that have walked in your footsteps, or you were walking in their footsteps, is the better way to look at things. And that's the beauty of a mastermind event like we had this past weekend. It's designed to help people talk with those that are doing well, and then also those that aren't doing well having kind of a fresh idea, fresh discussion. One of the great things that we had people do is I try to get everybody to coach each other too, because that's the beautiful thing. Get ideas from those in the group. So we had roundtables, like, what's your best marketing thing? What's your best raising capital thing? And sharing that not only as a group and having the group at each table pick one, but then we get everybody up in front of the room from each table to talk about their capital raising, their networking. What do they do to raise money? How are they successful at that? Where are they finding deals? And that is one of the beautiful things. And people out there, they also got a bigger picture, because the fact is that we had people there that were running big real estate firms that are getting to be more in the known industry. And it really gave people a fresh approach. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have to drop 30,000 postcards a month. I don't have to drop 75,000 postcards. I can literally drop some email blasts and get stuff done, whereas others, much easier. And that's the thing I want to post out to everybody out there. Look, don't get sucked into the 4-night-a-week football thing, all right? Don't get sucked into where Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights are all open, or really Tuesday, Wednesday, because there's football Thursday night with college or pro. Friday night you have football, high school football, or some college games. Saturday's college, Sunday's the NFL, and then Monday's Monday Night Football. That's like 4 or 5 days out of the week right there that you get sucked into it. Don't get sucked into that. Look, there's nothing wrong with having fantasy football, but your fantasy football is not only just fantasy, it's taking away focus on what you're doing. And I've got buddies that spend a lot of time on the fantasy side. You get points and they get drafts together. I'm like, look, I might play in one fantasy league on ESPN.com. That's about it. I might play in one free league. I don't really care. It's 10 minutes a week, really, stuff like that. But I have buddies that spend hours and hours and hours tracking that down. And you know what that's all designed to do? It's for you to it takes away from you. It takes away from you accomplishing your fantasies and your dreams. It takes away from your energy to achieving bigger things. You're then living vicariously through LaShawn McCoy or Dak Prescott or Ezekiel Elliott or Odell Beckham. Okay? You're not. When the last time Odell wrote you a check? All right? When was the last time that you scored a touchdown? Okay? Dan, I love what Dan says. Just watch 1 or 2 games and make LinkedIn connections while you do it. I agree with that. That's a good way. What are you doing, honey? Oh, I'm adding LinkedIn connections. That's a great way to post it, Dan. I don't know what happened there. I've seen only one or two emails from people that I met at the Quest Expo this weekend. I've only seen like 2 people send out, and there's over 500 people at the thing. And that's fine. I know we gave out a bunch of information. We gave a bunch of cards. A lot of people, got our information, and I've only seen a couple emails go out, and that's sad. We got an email out yesterday to everybody that we met. I had it written up Monday night for it to go out, and then all I need was for us to upload our list of contacts. So that's we divide and conquered. I wrote the email. We got the list of business cards uploaded, and it went out yesterday. And I've already had success with that. So we're pretty stoked about that. But going back to kind of coming back full circle here. I don't know how far long we've been going today. The thing you've got to keep in mind more than so anything else is you've got to be coachable. If you're not coachable and you're not doing the things your coaches tell you to do, you're going to struggle. You're going to constantly bat your head because maybe you don't know the best thing. And what's funny is I was talking to some guy last night, and he was asking about Austin and some things, and I was trying to give the guy some advice, and he just barreled over me. Just kind of fun. Just barreled over me. Oh, I know better. I'm like, dude, you don't know better. And you're moving to an area, or you're doing some of this other stuff, and you're trying to give somebody advice. You're trying to help them save from making mistakes, and you just can't help everybody. And so, the point is, like, why'd you get so quiet? I was like, he was a know-it-all. That's fine. You can try to know it all. Go ahead. Offer it up. I'll just move on to somebody else who's more coachable. And the thing you have to keep in mind more than anything else is you're going to make mistakes. Don't shy away from. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't be afraid of getting smacked in the mouth. Don't be getting afraid of falling down or missing a tackle or dropping a pass or fumbling. Just pick up the ball, pick up it, and do it again and again. Get in there, practice, because eventually you'll end up playing like you practice, and you'll find success. So, once again, I just want to give a big shout out to the coaches, high school, college. I've had some amazing coaches in my real life here too. Greg Reed, Bob Leonetti, Tom Hopkins. Some people that I really, really look up to, and they've done an amazing job helping adjust it. My dad, my mom, of course, as always. I have to give a big shout out to Stephanie Goodman as well. Behind every good man is an even better woman, and so I'm very lucky that she's in my life. We may butt heads a little bit of some things. We have a totally different take on some things, but there still would I did not be where I'm at today without having somebody there to help coach me through some things, or when I feel down, somebody to pick me up, and vice versa. So if you're struggling, drop us an email. If you're having a hard time getting things rock and rolling, just drop an email. Scott at We Close Notes. I encourage anybody out there that's listening to this in iTunes, Stitcher, hey, shoot me an email, Scott at WeCloseNotes.com. Very simple. Scott at WeCloseNotes.com. Tell me what you're struggling with, and we'll be trying to help in any way we can for you guys. Anything we can do to help coach you up, we're glad to do. But other than that, guys, go out, make something happen. Have a great day. And if you see somebody struggle, take a second, give them some coaching, because we all have coaches around us. Don't be afraid to coach somebody up. If you've been through a bad situation or experience or something like that, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody who's struggling and help them as well. Other than that, guys, go out, make something happen, and we'll see you at the top, everybody. Bye.